other like cardstock is just gonna get ate up way too quickly. So you stamp your design on watercolor paper. Then you trace a small area with a color slightly lighter than your color you want to finish with. Then you're going to use a water brush. If you don't have a water brush, you can use just a regular paintbrush with water, and then just keep the bristles wet. I do like a water brush because you get the water's right there in the barrel and you just squeeze it whenever you need some more. But then you just rub the water over the top of where you colored, and you just blend that color out. So here I'm going to go back to the marker, and I'm just adding a little bit more color around the eyes. And so rather than color the entire cat, I'm doing this like almost in thirds. So I did the top half and the middle half and then the bottom half. It really depends on the size of your project, but you just don't want to color too much of an area because you don't want that color to set in. But this Tombow markers are reactive with water, so now I can take my water brush and go right over the top of where I colored and see how I can soften it and blend it out and make it really a much paler color, but very soft and doesn't look like a marker anymore. You do want to work on dry areas. So once you've colored an area, let that area dry before you go back and add more wetness. Otherwise, the paper will just pill up. You want to let it dry before. So now I've worked on that half, and now I'll go down to the bottom portion of the kitten and work on coloring that. And so far, this is all the same color of marker. Go ahead and pick out pick out your shade, and then pick a lighter and a darker of that, and start with the lightest and work your way up in your coloring. I'm going to speed up the film now so that you can see the entire process of coloring this cat in just a little bit faster. I will say that after you've got the base color on, I go back with a darker color, and you see you just kind of scribble it, and then you go back with your water brush. Now this is paper that has dried since I first did it. So again, you don't want to do wet on wet with this technique because you really don't want to get water up into your pen either. So I'm coloring darker color over top of the dried lighter color, and then go back to my water brush and blending it all out and blending the colors together. And now that we're adding darker color, you can get a lot more depth in your overall painting. It's just really fast. You don't really have to spend a lot of time mixing colors and any of that. But if you did want to mix colors, or you have limited color selection of your Tombows, you can mix them by scribbling them onto something plastic or glass. Like I'm coloring the mat underneath here, the black mat I'm coloring on is actually glass, so that would work too. I could scribble a little color on that straight from the marker and scribble another color on top of that, and then mix up a new color if I wanted to. And then I'm just going to add some details to the eyes by using the bullet tip, and I also added the little freckles on the kitty. So this is just a really fun, fast way to color with Tombow markers, and I'm just highlighting with a gold gel pen. And so now I'm going to share with you coloring the same stamp in another color. I think I'm going to color this one white. So for white, I'm actually going to use 3 different shades of gray, a light, medium, and a dark. I'm starting with the lightest, and I'm just going to go ahead and super speed this whole coloring process because you already have the gist of it. But this kitty was cute with some golden, amber eyes and a little blue eyeshadow. I gave her extra pink cheeks and ears, just made her real girly. This is a really fun stamp to play with. It is from Picket Fence, and it's called Sophie Kitten. It's style number K103. Sophie Kitten is really fun to play with. I'm going to color her in purple as well. I'll go ahead and put that in this video too. Just for something completely off the wall different. You don't always have to do a natural color for your animals. But this process of coloring, where you color with a marker first and then you go back over with a water brush, is fast and fun, and it's really can be really dramatic in the finished results. I really love using it most of the time for more like landscape or florals or those kind of stamped images, but you're not limited. You can do it on anything. Cute kitty, huh? Okay, let's go jump and go ahead and do the purple one next. I pretty much found out that I have a lot of shades of purple. And so I just started with one of the lighter colors, and I just didn't really know where this purple cat was going to end up. And I'm like, I'm only going to allow myself to use purple shades on this entire cat. And it's actually really cute, I think. Uh, and makes me want to like explore a little bit more. Maybe I can make, um, a blue cat or a hot pink cat. But also, if you kind of look in the background, you can kind of see a more of a black kitten I did with lighter colors. You see his cheeks are really dark, and then he has light little specks. Let the dark dry a little bit, and then you can add a little bit of water in more of a dot